You might be thinking about getting into commissions, or especially if you're an art client, you're thinking about getting that project, that character, that scene finally made that's been sitting inside your head, right? But the problem right now is that there's a whole lot of AI users flooding literally every social media platform out there. So that's why today in this video, I want to give you the ultimate guide to spotting people that are AI users so that you can get the value and you get the quality that you deserve out of your project each and every time. And make sure you watch this whole thing all the way through so that you can spot all those red flags. Here we go. Here's the reasons why you as an art client deserve somebody better than an AI user. Number one is that you have amazing, awesome flipping ideas, right? And because of that, you deserve to work with somebody who will provide you with an exact experience, a replica of exactly what you want, which leads me to number two, which is that you have specifics. You have exact details and items and specific armor sets and clothing sets and character input into your characters that you deserve to be brought to life, especially if you're going to be paying for it. Now, because of that, AI cannot do this. It can produce at best compromises between what you want and what the machine allows it to do. And this has been shown to death, including in my videos, which you'll find down below here. And here's just the thing, here's the honest truth about it, y'all. If I did the same exact prompts, used the same exact words, did the same exact minimal efforts to produce the AI image, I could do the same exact thing. So what are you paying for as an art client? You're paying for words and you're paying for nothing to be done to your specificity, and you're paying for somebody overall to take advantage of you, which I think you deserve better, friend. And that's why you need to pay attention to these red flags. A big major red flag that I see a lot right now, especially on DeviantArt, as a lot of AI users are flooding this platform, is when they're opening up their own commission shops. Some commonalities that you're gonna notice is that they are ridiculously cheap. Like, look at this thing right here. Like, who is charging 80 points or $1? Another thing that you're gonna notice is that when you look at the descriptions of what they're actually wanting from you, as this person says right there, give me the best description of what you want for a prompt for the AI to work with. Well, hey, isn't that nice? So if you pay $5 of your hard-earned money, then you can make sure that you do the work of that commissioned artist. Isn't that great? And then you have this guy right here who's saying that they can make breathtaking character design in any style. Whoa, look at that. And for only a cool $25. So check the descriptions of whatever you're going to be looking for, especially if you're going to be looking on commission shops for artists on DeviantArt. There are people that are just using the machines to do some of the work, and at the end, all you're going to get, my friend, is a compromise between what you wanted and what the user could do, because again, they can't do specificity. Y'all, you will always notice that AI users always use pretty much the same exact hashtags, and they always flag themselves as AI users. And the reason for that, very simple, is because they are not actually attached to their images, they are just trying to get attention. So as you look down at their hashtags, you're gonna notice the same exact things. It's gonna be AI, or it's gonna be Midjourney, or it's gonna be Stable Diffusion, it's gonna be AI community. So as you look down at the hashtags of these images, it's gonna be a huge red flag that you are not working with an artist, you're just working with an AI user. Now, as we go through the rest of these, I just want to let you know, I'm not trying to produce any type of witch hunt for AI users versus artists. However, though, it is important for you as an art client to know exactly who you are going to pay and what you're getting yourself into. Now, somewhere around where the hashtags are, you'll typically see some indications of what software they're using. And nowadays on ArtStation, they actually added things like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney into a software. Okay. So if you thought that you might be potentially interested in working with somebody who can produce you the perfect image that you want, right, friend? Then you should definitely take a look at that, because if they mention anything like Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, or any other AI programs, whatever comes out after watching this, right? Then you should definitely be aware of that, because you're not gonna get something that is actually tailored towards what you want. Again, you're gonna be working with somebody who can only produce compromises and generic works for you. And don't you deserve better than that? I think you do. The next thing I want to draw your attention to identifying potential AI users versus real artists is how they are naming their artworks and how they're also writing about their works in their descriptions. So as we take a look at this one right here, you might be like, wow, this is stupidly cool and this is really interesting. Maybe this person could work with me. However, though, take a look at that title right there. And they even say it's AI generated. If you ever see this, this should be obvious, but yeah, you're not working with a real artist here. Next is that you're also gonna notice a lot of times what they do is they don't even care what it's called, because again, to them, it doesn't matter. So make sure that you pay attention to that. If it looks anything like this, where it's just a whole jumbled mess of characters, then you're probably not working with a real artist. Along with that too, make sure that you read the descriptions. A lot of AI users, they like to put in there what software they're using or how they made it, or they allude to the fact that they did not actually draw or paint or sculpt it themselves. So definitely check that out. Now, here's the biggest red flag, y'all, and I notice this all the time, especially in the last 6 months as AI has really come onto the scene. Check out their profile, and here's the major red flag that you can look for. So let's take a look at this person right here. So here's a classic example of what I'm talking about here. When you're looking at somebody right here who's been a deviant for only 4 months, and how many artworks have they done? 102? That is extreme. Like, no human artist actually does that much unless they've just been hiding in a cave for the last like 10 years of their life and they're now just getting onto social media. And then here's another person here. You're looking at this person, deviant for 4 months. Oh, and how many artworks did they make? 1.2 thousand deviations? Yeah, right, bro. You are definitely not a real artist. Now, you can apply this to literally any social media platform out there, but take a look at how long they've actually been on that platform. And that's a pretty big red flag if it's generally within the last 6 months to a year. Now, along with that, also take a look and watch out, y'all, for really sketchy looking profiles. Now, here's a really awesome example I found of this on Instagram. So check this out. Here's this dude named Sketchy Art, okay? And again, noticing what I just said before, they have 393 posts. Bro has been very, very, very busy apparently, okay? And when you take a look at their portfolio, you'd be like, wow, this looks amazing. This looks cool. I'm not gonna lie, this person actually fooled me until I really started digging through. And you notice the same things I've already talked about. We have the same exact hashtags in here. It tells you that it's Midjourney. It tells you that it's AI. And when you go back again, look at what their oldest post is. Again, 393 posts starting September 14th, 2022. So in the last 4 months, they produced about 100 artworks a month. Yeah, not fooling anybody there. If you notice on the profile, they say that they are an art director at the ripe age of 31. Wow, that must be pretty impressive. So naturally, you would think that if you went ahead and you searched up Sketchy art director, that they would pop right up, right? Well, let's see here. Oh no, of course they don't, because they're not an art director. But this is a classic AI thing where they think that they can call themselves art directors, y'all. So if you ever see anything sketchy like this, definitely check that out. Just to contrast this here. So here's Suzanne Helmi, which by the way, she's a fantastic, amazing art director and amazing artist. You can find tons of things about her. She's all over the place. So here's a big problem I noticed is that a lot of AI users are frauding themselves as being big shot artists when they're actually not. And again, this should kind of set off a lot of bells and alarms for you as a potential client, because if it seems too good to be true, it definitely is. Lastly, here's a really obvious one, at least it should be obvious to you, but if you look at their title of what their actual name is and it contains the letters AI in it, you are definitely not working with a real artist, bro. So watch out for those really sketchy profiles. It seems too good to be true. It definitely is. One of the biggest red flags to me, and honestly, a lot of people that are really schooled in this, is when you take a look at their portfolio. And as you can see right here from this person, they even call themselves a digital artist. So this could be somebody who could potentially be frauding clients just like yourselves out there. So as you look through their portfolio, you're gonna notice that there is no rhyme or reason for why their portfolio is all over the place. There's no consistency, the styles are totally different, and this is a huge flipping red flag as to the fact that you are going to be actually looking at an AI user's profile and not a real artist. Now, contrast this with a real artist right here, you're going to notice that yes, there is a natural skill progression and sometimes there are some deviations. It's natural for artists to want to experiment. However, though, again, contrasting this with an AI user, they're just experimenting with different prompts. And therefore, there's absolutely no rhyme or reason as to why this is taking place. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at specific styles. I want to give you some big indicators that you're not working with a real artist. And in fact, friend, you're looking at an AI user. So first off, let's take a look at realism examples. Now, as you take a look at this lovely fairy image right here from Sam's AI journey, again, red flag right there. But as you take a look at the actual image, look at that face, like look at those eyes. Why is she cross-eyed? Now you might make the argument of like, oh, well, it's just a little oopsie. Highly unlikely that they would have noticed that this poor girl is cross-eyed, all right? Now, as you take a look at this image right here, you might think like, wow, this is flipping amazing. The care and the details on here. However, though, what's missing here? Arms. AI is notoriously terrible at arms and feet and especially hands, y'all. So what happened here is that apparently she'd gone through some horrible accident and she just lost everything below the elbow. And then you will see tons of artworks that look just like this, where they are typically very pretty girls, pinup girls and stuff like that. And you'll notice this same exact characteristic where they're actually having the AI is putting faces onto them. And this is so bad to the point where when you take a look at this fairy girl image, somebody actually point out, who is that girl? Like, is that not the best exemplar of how AI works? Another really fine detail that not a lot of people know about is the fact that AI and the way that their models are trained, and especially the fact that they're trained on a lot of 3D models, is that it's gonna be a lot of just stupidly hard edges all over the place. They should have some soft edges and some level of hard edges and a lot in between here. But the fact that everything is just crazy hard edged, yeah, big red flag that it's probably an AI user. See that? Have you ever noticed this? One of the most obvious styles that I noticed right from the get-go is always an AI user is when it's just this weird surrealistic artwork. So as we take a look at some of these right here, you might be looking at these thinking like, wow, this could be really cool, or maybe this could be an album cover or something like that. And that's just because you didn't look hard enough at it. When you really take a look at this one right here, like this thing right here is supposed to be some kind of a peacock. Y'all, I don't really see anything to do with a peacock here. These are like bug wings at best. And there's just no sense, no rhyme or reason to any of this one. Big thing that you'll notice a lot is a lot of like space landscapes and these trippy looking kind of atmospheres. So as we take a look at this, initially you might think, wow, that's pretty cool. But then the more you get into it and the more you study it, you're like, what is that? Like, what is this person walking through? That's because AI is just slapping together a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't really make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And then this one right here really exemplifies this. So initially you might be looking at this and you're like, wow, that's really cool, that's interesting. But really study that anatomy. On the ugly meter for artwork, this thing is 10. Like, there's absolutely no flipping rhyme or reason for any of these brush strokes, for any of these things to be put together the way they are. On any type of abstract artwork that you might be looking into, or your trippy psychedelic kind of stuff too, because it's probably gonna be an AI user if it looks anything like these I've just shown you. Have you ever noticed this too? Now, the anime scene has definitely been hit the hardest by novel AI, but I wanna show you some things that you can always spot AI generated anime artwork from. So if you take a look at this image right here, this is the best exemplar I can think of. Everything that novel AI spits out for the most part is all gonna contain these super diffused edges, okay? And that's because it doesn't really understand how to produce different levels of edges for the most part, and it's generally just going to look like somebody just took a big fat soft round brush and smoothed everything out, where it looks like cel-shaded anime characters. And it's odd, it's really weird. Now, anime's definitely taken the most hits in this region, which is, oh my. So yes, the not safe for work scene has definitely been hit really hard by this too. And I just want to point it out, but all of this stuff contains, again, this same type of flaws where it's all gonna look like it's some type of like 3D model on here. These should be red flags for you to figure out, is this an AI user or is it not? But more than likely, it probably is. You as an artist, art client, you deserve the best commission experience ever, and you deserve to have whatever you have in your mind brought to life, and you as an artist deserve to have the ability to produce something that is uniquely tailored and perfectly positioned to satisfy your client. And if you're not certain whether or not you want to work with an AI user, then you should definitely be aware of how nasty and toxic their community is, which you can find all about right here.